I'm Beth Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up! I made this beautiful card with products from Stampin' Up! I sell these products and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. I'll have the free detailed directions for this project on my website. You can click the links for the products to be taken to my online store, and there will also be a PayPal button if you would like to order the card kit from me. You'll see where to find all of this at the end of the video, so don't worry about taking notes. It's time to put stamps, ink, and paper together. If you are buying the card kit, you will want to get the beautiful friendship stamp set and the inks, which are Seaside Spray, Magenta Madness, and Garden Green. This is what's in the card kit. You'll get the envelope, the card base cut and scored, and with this die cutting done. You'll get a piece of Magenta Madness and some Whisper White. The Whisper White will already have a hole punched in it. You'll get the little enamel dot and a glue dot and some dimensionals. If you are not getting the card kit from me, you will also want the Ornate Layers dies. And you will want a hole punch. I used a 1/8 inch hole punch. It's retired from Stampin' Up! The detailed trio punch, the hole punch is really close to the edge. I tried to get it kind of centered, and if I put this all the way in the detailed trio punch, you can see it's really close. It will work. But even if you have a regular standard 1/4 inch hole punch, or just poke a hole in your card, or even cut a slit, any of those things will work. If you are not getting the card kit, you'll want to get some Seaside Spray cardstock and the Whisper White and Magenta cardstock and envelopes, of course. You will also want the 2022 in color enamel dots. I didn't have it in the card kit ready to go, but you'll also get 4 inches of this beautiful Seaside Spray metallic ribbon, and so you'll want to order this if you're not getting the card kit. You may want some dimensionals and glue dots as well. All of the dimensions of the cardstock and the detailed directions are available free on my website. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut my cardstock. The card base is the basic 5.5 by 8.5, so it's half a sheet of cardstock with the 5.5 inch side on the top. With the left side at 1 1/4, I'm cutting it from 3 1/4 inches, and you want to have this up when you move it over to 3 1/4, and there are lines on your cutter so you can see precisely where it is. 3 1/4 to 7.5 and stop. And you notice I usually use the cutter going this way, but in order for me to see the ruler nicely, I'm holding it this way. I want to be 1 1/4 inches from this side, so if you want to measure this to 4 1/4, or there's a 1 1/4 inch mark on this side too. Either way, whichever is more convenient for you. Your cardstock will be in the same place. And I'm already at 7.5, so I'll go to 3.5. And then you're going to turn with the smaller end on this side, and you're going to place this at 1 inch. And I'm going to be scoring, so I'm moving my cutting blade down. At 1 inch, you're going to be scoring from the slit to the outside edges. Now it might be hard to see the slit through there, but it is from, if you start at 1 1/4 and go out, and 4 1/4 and go out. Move it to 2 inches and do the same thing. And now it's a little bit easier to see that score line. from the cut and out, moving the cardstock to 4 1/4, and then we're going to score it just between the lines. So from 1 1/4 to 4 1/4. Then we move it to 5 1/4. And again, we're scoring just from the cut to the outside. So from 4 1/4 to the end, from 1 1/4 to the end. So your card is going to fold this way, and this one gets folded here, and these get folded. And I didn't cut quite enough here, so I'm going to just snip it a little bit more. And what I have been doing is getting it close to all the way folded down, and then matching the bottom, and then using the bone folder. And so if you were just a smidge off, you'll be fixing any of those problems. And that leaves a card that will stand up for you. Bringing in my cutting and embossing machine, and I'm actually lying this back flat. And from Ornate Layers, I'm using this piece. This piece does not cut out the outside, but it does make this beautiful detailed design inside. So I'm placing that near the top and covering it up. And for my machine, on these really detailed designs, I am finding that once I've gone one way and back, I hold the sandwich tight and place it down on my platform again, and just go back and forth again. And that always gives me a really great cut that most of the little insides. Then I'm going to repeat on the other side, but I like my cut up plate on the bottom and my cutting edge down, at least to start out with. Back and forth, flip the whole thing, and back and forth. I did not put on my list of supplies the die brush or the take your pick tool, but this is a really good thing to have, and I like to keep the foam pad in a stamp case. And clean this out, and you can also gently get most of the dots off of this. By the way, I lost my little cap for my take your pick tool. Took a piece of window sheet just long enough to go past the point and rolled it up really, really tight so it fit pretty close to that. And it's got, I don't know, probably four rounds of the window sheet. And then just held it tight with the packing tape, and that's been working pretty well for me. If you are getting the card kit, there may be a little bit of poking for these, but it's really easy to do. So the hole that you're going to poke is about 2 inches from the end, and pretty much centered if you can. These pieces are almost square, but not quite. It doesn't really matter for your stamping, but they will be in portrait style. I'm going to start off by stamping the Seaside spray. And my stamp is pretty well stained. But isn't that a pretty image? And I think that this must be one of those distinctive stamps because it's got very intentional dark and light places. I'm going to clean my stamp. By the way, I spent a lot of time looking for the little tiny sun and raindrops on my Stampin' Scrub, and I've discovered that they both have a triangle cut out of the corner, and the one on the outside is the one that is the wet one. And it's so much easier to spot that once I figure that out. And now I'm going to stamp with Magenta Madness. I do this over the Seaside spray because I want the most color to be the magenta. And this is the dark side, so I'm going to put it on a different side than this. It's basically upside down, rotated 180 degrees. And have you seen hydrangeas that are both blue and this bright pink? I love them. Then I'm going to stamp some leaves. And the garden green is a lot darker, so I'm stamping off just to have it a little bit lighter. Hydrangea leaves are actually really quite large. These are probably leaves for the roses, but I just needed a little bit of green around this. So I'm just kind of stamping around. I'm stamping So Happy to Know You, way over on the left side. And then this little spray of flowers close to my greeting. And like I said, you only need about 4 inches of the ribbon. And when I'm making cards, I usually leave the ribbon on the spool, unless I'm putting it in a card kit for you. You can use your Take Your Pick tool to poke it through. I've got some tweezers that I like to keep on hand. And I just really need a tiny bit on this side. And then I just need one little glue dot just to hold it in place. So this helps keep it from pulling out, but also keeps it kind of flat on my card. I have designated a pair of scissors to be my ribbon scissors. This other pair is getting kind of dull, and I can't find my ribbon scissors. I need to sharpen these. When you get these scissors, they are so sharp, it would not be unusual for you to cut yourself with them. Okie doke. So I've already kind of pre-folded this. I'm going to put the larger piece of Whisper White inside. I might want to just put another spray of these flowers in here. I think I will. But I want to keep it away from the sides because you'll actually see the white from the sides. So this goes inside, and I'm putting it fairly close to that crease. You don't want it way up on the crease, otherwise it'll kind of keep the card from closing. So you can see how the inside shows through. And adding the greeting in the front here. Adhering the flower to the Magenta Madness. And because we rotated that stamp, there's really no right and wrong, just whichever way you want it. This is going to go here. Now we could put this on with dimensionals. Honestly, I think if you use dimensionals with this thicker fold, that might increase the postage on it. So I'm not going to add dimensionals. Then all we need to do is add our Magenta Madness enamel dot. So I'm using my Take Your Pick to pick that up, and I'm pressing that just at the base of this ribbon, and I think that that really adds a finishing touch to that. And that's it. A fairly easy wow card. Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free detailed directions and links for the products I used. Under Shop, you'll find products from Bev, frequent shopper points. If you click Products from Bev, you'll find out how to share my Evernote notebook, a completely searchable catalog of all the current products, and I have taggers. You can give a name to each one of those dies. I also have a cardstock sampler with all of the current Stampin' Up! Colors. And if you've purchased one in the past, I have an updater with all the brand new in colors. And if you're getting one now, I have a backdater so you can get last year's in colors. And I have a fine tip glue pen replacement tips. So if your glue pen tip gets clogged, just swap it out. I have heavy duty reclosable bags. There are some for the 6x6 papers and some for the 12x12 papers. And you can get a bow maker from my friend Gidget. Under Inspiration, you can scroll my projects. You can scroll through the basics. You'll learn what's special about Stampin' Up! Stamps. You can learn about our color families and all the wonderful products that come in the color families. Some ideas for coloring. There's information about cutting, including how I store my card bases and layers. If you're wondering about all of our new adhesives, there's all kinds of information about those and some of my favorite tools. Under Getting Organized, you'll find a link for my stamp case slips, product labels, large labels, case inserts, a lot of color tools, a practically free stamp pad storage solution, catalog tabs, a quick reference, and a wish list with a catalog index, basic toolkit to go, and a little compact desktop tool box. You can tour my craft space. Under color tools, you can make your own cardstock sampler with labels. Here, there's a DSP divider, and there's a quarter sheet size DSP sampler. I have lots of color charts. I have a sponge dauber case insert, color wheel, a color chart with autocorrect and RGB codes. Under Sip Together, if we ever get a chance to meet in home and craft together, you can find about my next classes, and you can find out how to join my team, where you can save money or make money. Almost all of those resources are free. More organization means more time for crafting. Talk to you soon. Bye.